Hello guys, Mr. came back and once again saw the video Godzilla X Kong Supernova revealed when I was away. I'm gonna give my thoughts about it in case anybody's interested. But so far things look alright. They got Dr. Arlen Grant as part of the cast. They got many other people part of the cast. And the major feature of this teaser compared to all the other ones, compared to the Scar King, compared to what was it really teased Mechagodzilla, but we saw it in the trailer though. Yeah. Besides from that, in this case, we keep getting teased. Godzilla Kong, watch this space. Godzilla Kong, watch this space. It sounds like they're re-emphasizing on Monarch as a company. I like that. Monarch has been really in the background as an organization. Because even Godzilla King of the Monsters, even though it was the main forefront, and the main characters still had their own mini storylines, Monarch still had a presence in the movie, like in 2014. 2020, they were there, but they still broke off to the smaller teams. And the new Empire, it was just Gia and Dr. Andrews. That was it. Where was everybody else at? Well, what they're doing at the time, besides from those few guys at the outpost, nobody knows. Pretty much. But overall, the teaser keep hinting at watch this space. Now, there are some teasers that, Brazil is being rebuilt. These pyramids that showed up in Egypt. I don't know if they was covering the pyramids of Giza or they sprung up after the whole new empire. And, I don't know. It kind of just goes back to some old theories I had about the original King of the Monsters, about who forced out all the Kongs and Godzillas from the Hollow Earths, so on. Like, I'll just be retreading some old stuff here, but I still believe that the Godzilla that ate a star still exists. But it was Godzilla that Adam Wingard that can retcon that shit in the next movie. I'm not hearing it, because it doesn't make any sense for it to be Godzilla. It doesn't. Well, that's how he got his atomic breath. Pause. Now, for those people who keep saying that Godzilla got his atomic breath, and he is the one that the whole Azilla Zawad thing is mentioning, right? There's only one problem. Wasn't the Mutos designed to have an EMP that shut down the Godzilla's atomic breath? Now you understand what the statement you just made just sound real foolish, right? Because if Godzilla is the only one with the atomic breath, then why was the Mutos, a parasitic species that hunt Godzillas, have EMPs built into them to counter that Godzilla atomic breath? Yeah, I hope you understand how foolish to say such a thing. That doesn't make any sense. It's been established since 2014. The Mutos in their storyline have not changed. So unless you can explain, and then on top of that, right? Look at the mural with the whole Curious Wing Godzilla, right? The other Gojis in that picture also shooting the atomic breath. So where are you people getting this logic from that Godzilla is the only one with the atomic breath? That doesn't make any sense. Where are you getting this from? Where? Because the story makes no sense. It was just Godzilla got the atomic breath. So why does the Mutos get the EMP? Because the other Godzillas didn't get the electromagnetic shock, and Godzilla didn't get the electromagnetic shock until he became burning and Zoa Mothra. So why else did they have the Mutos have an EMP? See how foolish that strange? See how that doesn't make any sense? So that still sticks. There still is a Godzilla that went mad with power. Because there's still key questions that are not answered. They're not answered at all. We got all these type of species and so on and so on. How did the Kong and Godzilla war end? How did the Kongs end up on Skull Island? How come there's so few Godzillas existed besides from Godzilla and Dagon? Like, where were all these other people? Where were they? Like, where's all the other Godzillas? How come that? Now, I'm not saying there was like millions of them, but it had to be like what? At least like 10,000? At least 1,000? At least. It makes sense why the Kong could outpopulate the Godzillas, right? Like say it's like 1,000 to 1. What, 5,000 Kong versus 1,000 Godzillas? That sounds like it matches up. Or at least want to say 3,000 Kong versus 1,000 Godzillas. It can go either way, but it's just the story of the Godzilla that eats the star makes no sense if it's the main Godzilla and he just ate a random star or absorbed some energy, and then the next thing you know, he got the atomic breath. So how come the other Gojis are depicted with the atomic breath? How come the other Gojis were hunted down by the Mutos, and the Mutos got EMPs built into them to shut that? Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, you already know my main theory. I still believe that there is an original King of the Monsters, and that potentially, like I theorized before, it was this mad Godzilla that caused the Kongs and the Godzillas to team up, that caused the Kongs and Godzilla get pushed to the surface and pushed to be dormant, and potentially he wiped out most of his own species. Why? Well, I'm not saying it was on purpose, like he had a vendetta, but you know, when he absorbed all that power and became real bloodthirsty, he just started attacking anybody. And who were the closest people to him, even though they lived in solitude? The other Gojis. So it was nothing personal, but you know, they had to die. So in this case, they couldn't defeat him, but they did repel him from the planet. Only problem is, when he left, it left a pathway for other creatures in space to find their way to Earth. And that's how potentially King Ghidorah showed up. Now, when did he show up? We don't have a clear timeline of when King Ghidorah showed up to Earth, but that would explain why it's only Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan going against King Ghidorah, and not like an army of Godzillas. Now, it could be that was our main Godzilla. That could be Dagon, before, you know, he got packed up and put out his misery. But we don't know who the Godzilla is, along with Rodan, because when Rodan saw our Godzilla, there was no, how's it going, friend? It was just, somebody got to die. So, the only one who got that relationship with Godzilla is Mothra. So, it could just be a part of the God of War Rodan's personality, or it could be that Rodan teamed up with a different Godzilla and not our main Godzilla. So, with a different Goji. So, that's why Mothra and Godzilla got that bond, but Rodan and Godzilla don't. They never really encounter each other. So, and then we got that plot controversy of, well, who froze King Ghidorah? Is it Shimo? Was he just caught up in the Arctic and the landslide and got frozen? Is snow King Ghidorah one of his weaknesses? We don't know. And we've seen multiple people trying to reiterate, it wasn't Shimo who did it. It wasn't her who did it. So, if Shimo is not stronger than base Godzilla, right? We're going to have to explain, why did Godzilla spend a whole movie going on a training arc absorbing massive amount of radiation if it wasn't because of Scar King and his army and Shimo? You're going to have to explain to me how that makes sense. Because we've seen how the Scar King 1v1 without his armada is not that big of a threat to come. He's decent competition, but you know, his tag team partner shows up, who with the ice abilities, Kong stands no real chance. Nor did, I believe, what? Well, a GVK Godzilla. The Godzilla from 2021 would have fought Shimo, he would have lost. Easily. So, you're going to have to explain to people, if it wasn't because of those two, and if it wasn't Shima that took out King Ghidorah potentially, you're going to have to explain why that Godzilla. And it's like, it makes a lot of things where Shimo just comes into question. If that she wasn't responsible for freezing King Ghidorah, then how did it happen? Who was he fighting? So on and so on. Because it could be that Shima just had a better tactical advantage. King Ghidorah doing his rampage was going up north. Then we got, well, it was Godzilla who took Ghidorah away. So he couldn't do it again? He couldn't do it again? I'm just saying. Because post 2014 and post fighting Muto Prime, that Godzilla's a lot stronger than the one that would have fought King Ghidorah all those years back. So you're gonna have to explain, if he did it back then, why couldn't he do it now? Because that was both in the snow still, right? In King of the Monsters, they were still in the snow. And they were fighting. So why couldn't he do it again? So, now those are my initial predictions about it. I do believe that the rumored Mad Godzilla, the Mad Titan that betrayed his own species, that kicked everybody out of the Hollow Earth, this original king of the monsters that have been theorizing to happen, because that was not the Scar King. The Scar King just had a skirmish with Godzilla. We don't know if it was post the war or during the war itself. Had a skirmish, put Godzilla life to death. Godzilla, I guess he broke a bridge or something and sealed him in the lower levels, and Godzilla just went on about his life. We don't know if it was before or after he got packed up by the rival. We just don't know. So it's just, it's part of the goods and the bad with Adam Wingard. Adam Wingard did introduce some interesting things, but for another case, he just, I don't know what he was doing, man. Just some other cases with the plot, I said, like, what you doing, man? What are you doing? What? Especially the, because especially, well, if it was Godzilla who ate the star, then what happened to all that power he had? Well, he took a nap and he lost it. So he had, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff you gotta explain. It just makes more sense if it is a space type Godzilla. Now, somebody said, where did he go? I don't know. He could have went towards the sun. Now this could be a feat like no other. What if this mad space Godzilla, when he was kicked off the planet, or he left because of his own means? Because it could have been that after wiping out most of his own species, he just got tired and left. But it appears that they did jump him with the Axis, the Kongs, humanity, and the Gojis, and they was able to repel him, not defeat him. It could have been he went up to the space, had a wormhole, ended up somewhere else. Or what if this mad Goji went towards the sun? What if all these years he's just been soaking up solar radiation, and that's why when he comes back, he's supercharged and he's the supernova. If he was to spend any, I'm telling you, what I think it is, right? If he was to spend any long term on Earth, he would destroy the planet. That's how much radiation he's been absorbing. That's how much juice he's been getting powered up on. Now, some might say why. It's because after eating the star, he became a powered crazy maniac. And all he wanted was to absorb the pure raw radiation from the Hollow Earth. That same radiation that they found in Kong's lair, that they used to power up Mechagodzilla, this guy's been soaking it up for years. For years. So, I hope one day we can get like a true Titan war between the Kongs and Godzilla flashbacks, but it's just the way Toei's acting, we may never ever get that. At least in a comic book, at least, you know. But it would explain the Supernova title, would it? Is this mad space Godzilla type creature now? It could be Space Godzilla, or it could just be a brand new Godzilla. They gave a brand new name, and they got to license it with Toho, and it'd be like their own type of thing. But that is what I want, though. That would be excellent. That would be great. Now, does he come back by himself? Now, I would prefer that God can be a human-made weapon. You just take those pieces from Mechagodzilla, right? Find some dead Titan in a because I keep trying to push the Hollow Earth thing, right? We don't know how many dead creatures that could have been frozen up there next to King Ghidorah. We don't know how many dead creatures could be found in that in-between place in the Monarch TV show. So they could take one of those dead bird-type creatures, throw some cybernetics on him, and try to use him to go against Godzilla or Kong, or be a Godzilla Kong deterrent that's controlled by humanity. So that way you don't, it's not too outrageous. It's also just real enough where I can see that happening. I can. And then instead of having like a traditional heat breath or heat vision, maybe it could be like a oxygen destroyer type ray that can hinge towards destroyer. Could not. So now what would have been more interesting is if destroyer is created by them trying to drop an oxygen destroyer into the Hollow Earth through one of the portals, and it doesn't make it, but it blows up one of those in-between areas and mutate a creature that they should never mutated. Because why? Because the way the environment and radiation works different down here. The oxygen destroyer might not work underground as it does on the surface. So, I don't know, it doesn't mean avenues, and that's where you can, from that avenue, you can easily have Space Godzilla and Gigan versus Godzilla Kong. Easily. But I am more interested with three monsters versus Godzilla Kong instead of just two, because we had the 2v1 against Mechagodzilla, the 2v2 against Scar King, and Shimo. So just one out of 3v2. Now who's going to be that weaker monster? I don't know. We could bring in one of the comic book monsters that showed up. That forest looking one that was attacking behemoths in the Amazon. We could bring him back, and we have our 3v3. Now somebody say, well, why would the creatures fall in line? Well, the Godzilla creature can just go haywire with the masses of mighty radiation, and he was already a cyborg before, but it fuses and kind of reactivates some type of consciousness inside Gigan. Boom, we got Gigan tag teaming with Space Godzilla. Now with the forest creature, he already got some personal beef with Godzilla. It could just be a enemy of my enemy is my friend. So Kong still got that army, so they can still do something. They still got Shimo, so maybe instead of just being a 2v2, 3v2, it's just a 3v3. Still interesting. So we can have Shimo and Godzilla team up against this juiced up Space Godzilla, and Kong go against this Gigan cat creature. Now Gigan is not confirmed. We at least know that the Space Godzilla thing, that is real. Alright, because there's no way you keep posting up stars and a dinosaur. It literally can mean nothing else. Now, will it be called Space Godzilla? We don't know. We could just kill it the whole, like, Azawa type name. Bingo, that's what they call it. I like the name. It matches up. So that's why they're going to pay for a license, but he still pretty much is a reference to Space Godzilla. And, as long as they're not fringing, I can wait to see what happens. Because it is some type of space monster. Confirmed. And you look at the Mora that was cut. The creature they're fighting against looks like it's coming from space. Because it seems like the fight is happening at night. You can see all the stars in the background. So. But overall, final predictions. I do believe that this Space Godzilla type creature, the reason why it's called Supernova is because he's coming back from the sun. He's coming back. Now, we'll get some tease with some alien type stuff. It's possible that they can tease that aliens came to the planet once. As far as we know, we can get like a Megalon cameo or mention. Or Organ mention. Or they just mention his name, but he's not actually in the movie. Possible. But I really am interested in the humans trying to, because I've already got hit towards like Monarch Declassified that there is this liquid that can preserve Titan bodies. So we can't confirm if Amazon is alive or not. That's up in the air. But they can use this liquid, slap it onto another kaiju, taking some of those Mechagodzilla parts, because we never know who cleaned up that site in 2020. So whoever cleaned up that site could have easily took those parts. Now we still got Jonah, right? The Eco-Terrors. They got to finish up on that plot line and a few others, but overall, I can see this working. A Gigan type creature. Now this is pure speculation. The Space Godzilla thing is confirmed. That's factual. A Gigan type cyborg creature that we're going to use this to protect ourselves and the Titans, and because we're already seeing them got like Titan technology, especially what they made for Kong. And obviously, the governments are not happy with the way Monarch has been handling the whole Titan situation. Now, this whole thing going wrong, excellent. If there was a setup of Oxygen destroying the Hollow Earth and they create Destroyer, excellent. Because technically, sure, that caused lots of property damage, but just like a tornado or a hurricane, like you can get mad at it, but you know, it's just gonna happen. Best you can do is minimize the damage and keep as many friends as you can. Now, turn on them, that's not going to end well for you. It's just not. But they got the powerful technology and so on. So, we've seen what happened with Godzilla in 2020. And that was a much weaker Godzilla. But he was able to talk to atomic breath. That's because they shot him on his dorsal plate. You know that's a weakness. Anywhere else, Godzilla was dominating. Light work. So that's my lasting theories. Will they get the license for Gigan for this movie? There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee for Gigan. It would be interesting, right? And breeding and controlling them. So it's not that far stretched for them to make a Gigan anti-Titan creature that's on their payroll. It's just the fact that the only reason it went wrong was because this space Goji came back juiced up with this radiation to the gills. And it won't be Godzilla that's about to blow up. He's about to blow up. And when he detonates, that's an apocalypse. That's 99% of the things on Earth dead. And somebody saying, is he coming back because he knows he's going to explode? Possibly not. It could be that he's just coming back, you know, just to come back and see how things going, guys. Yeah, I'm back. How things going? Well, I thought it was you thought you got rid of me, Brittany. He could be back on the revenge spree. This could be, as the Joker say, it could be personal. He could have a grudge against you, maybe. Maybe he's Godzilla's biggest fan. Could be, but I don't know. To me, it makes sense. Makes sense because it was explain the Supernova title. Kong got to fight somebody. The last time they tag teamed somebody was Mechagodzilla, and it's just I can't see them just tag teaming just one enemy again, especially with Shimo out there, especially with Mothra out there. And those are some very that as a team as itself, it's just some extreme heavy hitters, especially with Shimo on the team. So we're gonna need something above that. Don't want to see Shimo die. No, if she gets injured by this creature, I wouldn't mind, but because there more than likely is a portal from Antarctica to the Hollow Earth. Besides from the one that Monarch found, because maybe she's chilling out there, and there is a meteorite that strikes in the Arctic and starting to raise sea levels. That's the first ram of contention. Wait a minute, something's raising the sea level. Something is extremely hot. To send Monarch out there, maybe Godzilla could be in the area watching. Somebody's packing up Shima. What's happening right now? And the amount of heat that this space Godzilla, from absorbing the sun's radiation, the amount of heat this creature is letting off, it's like it's devastating to them. Right? We thought what King Ghidorah did was bad. We have never seen nothing. The amount of, like, we gotta get this guy out of the Arctic, cause he's gonna freeze them glaciers and everybody's gonna drown. Like the amount of heat he's just letting off. He's just the amount of temperatures. He's too much. He's too much, man. He's too strong. So do I want Godzilla to get another upgrade in this movie? I would say no. This is I'm not trying to have this turn into the not reddish white dorsal plates, because instead of dissipating the all that extra energy, it kind of absorbed into them. I'd take that. If it gets like a base pile-up boost from the previous movies, I'd take that. But a brand new, like, just evolved Godzilla transformation, I don't want to see that. I don't. So in this case, it'll be humanity with an upgraded tech. With Shimo, potentially Mothra, maybe not. With Godzilla, stabilized evolved form. And the Kong Armada versus, potentially, that's more than likely confirmed, unconfirmed, Space Godzilla type monster. And hopefully, a Gigan type creature. Why? There is no evidence for Gigan. There is no teasers from the cast. There is nothing. But he's just adding in like a Gigan type human-made creature would spice it up some. You will really get things going. And then Shimo could just be playing long range. If she does get injured by this creature and the heat and get packed up by him, she has to play a long range type roles, freezing him from high point while Godzilla's applying pressure, tenderizing him, while Kong is going against this cybernetic, mutated type creature. But then you gotta explain what the rest of the Kong army is gonna do. Who knows? That could be making sure all the other Titans stay in their place. They could be doing a lot of things. They could be helping out humanity, try to deal with the whole freezing glacier type problem. Could be that. What about Suko and Doug? I am still not a big fan of Doug being directly like a Goji type creature, because he doesn't look like it. Now, sure, we don't see the full life cycle of Godzilla. That's true. If they do it, will I be mad? No. But from that same merit, I gotta see how it turns out with the script. Like a lot of things with the script. I do believe this new guy hopefully will be a better writer than Adam. Cause I like the new Empire, but it was an alright movie. It wasn't just like how could a GVK was just like, this stuff was great. Like, let's put that back on again. It was alright. It was solid, but he's just, I don't know. It's funny how at one moment we've always expected like a new director to show up on Monarch projects, whether it was 2014, Skull Island, King of the Monsters, GVK, and now just having two directors back to back. I'm interested to see what the new writing team would do. Hopefully they'll be going in this direction. Cause it wouldn't just be fan service. It would explain the plot. It would explain the titles. It would finally wrap up some of those old storylines and fully flesh out the Titan War like no other. I'm telling you, if this space Godzilla is juiced up on the sun's radiation and he's been soaking that up for hundreds of thousands of years, they're gonna have to jump this man. They gotta cool him down. There's no way. There's a movie if he's that juiced up that they can, like Shimo gotta freeze this guy. So I don't care if Shimo get injured and she's just a long-range sniper, but they gotta do something to control this man heat. This man is a walking natural disaster. If he's able, I'm telling you, if he's able to get to Antarctica, we're done. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. Because it could be a case that he lands in the North Pole, right, and he runs into some water and he's just boiling the water, right? But if he's walking on the surface, he's gonna melt the Arctic. He's gonna kill somebody. Like he's gonna flood the planet. We can't let that happen. But I don't know. That's my personal wish was thinking. Because the last time I wished like this, I had high hopes for the Scar King, and he turned out to be all right. He was nothing disappointing, but I wish he was a little bit more powered up. At least he was juiced up by the Hollow Earth energy, so on and so on. But in this case, with this new guy, there's a lot of things already set in stone for him, and especially with the Supernova type plot. This should be an easy knockout of the park. Easy. Like, we just gotta explain the human characters and things like that. But for the monster side, if he's really that juiced up, if he's really that strong, and they gotta jump him, they hit him with freeze rays, and you can go back to like the classic like Toho type movies in the 90s, where they jump on him, blasting missiles at him, they lighting them up, and he's still going against Godzilla and Kong, and Kong is going against this cyborg creature. That could be excellent. They've got Shimo and a long range sniper just blasting him across. It could be great. It could be great. Now someone say, well, I want to see the other Titans do anything. After seeing Abaddon, hell, look, my hopes aren't too high for many of the other Titans showing up. Aside from a potential plot of getting killed by a cybernized Titan like Gigan, hopefully they flesh him out some more. But currently, I have no high hopes. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. But yeah, overall, that's been my pretty much thoughts on it. I'm real curious to see how it turns out. A lot of things can happen. A lot of things, and all we can do is wait and see how it turns out. Those are my expectations, because I really am interested in that plot. What if he is just that hot? What if he's melting? Like, you don't understand. This guy will be, like, the amount of natural disasters from this guy just flying around. Like Ghidorah would be a cakewalk. At least you can fly through a Ghidorah type storm. Now, sure, watching the DC was looking quite apocalyptic. But that was a space alien. That wasn't juiced up from thousands of years of radiation. This new guy, this fella right here, King Ghidorah would be lunch meat for this man. Easy work, easy. So, cause that would present a hard fight for Kong. Cause dealing with that type of heat, I don't know, man. You might need an oxygen mask out there. We've seen what the napalm did to him. That's a lot of heat, and he's not punching that person that hot. He's not. At least Godzilla can just take some of the heat and attack them, at least go long range. Kong, unless you throwing spears or something, man, he gotta fight somebody else and come with a different way. And I don't want to see Kong with a gun. Maybe an upgrade to his beast glove, maybe. But I'm not trying to have like a mech'd out Kong. The beast glove was as a prosthetic. Maybe they might put like a feature where I can shoot something, but don't push the limits here. Just don't do that. But overall, that's been my thoughts and expectations. This Godzilla who ate a star has returned, and he's going to destroy everybody if we don't team up to stop him. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and peace.